So continuing from where we left off in the last video, now you'll be using the acrylic paints provided by me, Liquitex Basic Acrylics. In the box here, you'll find 12 tubes of paint. You've got a white, black, phthalo green, primary blue, primary red, primary yellow. You've also got an orange, crimson, violet, green, and 2 browns. You'll also get an extra tube of white paint since we use a white a lot as a base foundation to mix into. I'm also giving you a set of brushes. They're not the best brushes, but if you take care of them, they should last through the semester. You'll have 2 number 4s, one of them a flat and one of them a filbert, a 6, and then a detail brush. So continuing where we left off before, I'm going to need to get some more paint. Remember, acrylic paints you cannot reconstitute by adding water. Once it's dry, it's pretty much dry. You can't use it again. So I'm going to need to add a little bit more white, yellow, red, blue, and black. Only take as much as you think you're going to need. You can always go back to the tube and squeeze out a little more paint if you need it. But if you find that you've squeezed out too much paint, you can't put it back in the tube. It just dries out and then it's wasted. So just little bits of paint at a time. Keep it available so in case you do need to squeeze out some more, it's readily available. Now you can mix your paint right on the palette here a little bit, right on the plate, or you can mix it directly onto the painting, which is what I'm going to do. Now these are the 2 number 4 brushes. One of them's a flat with an edge that goes straight across, and the other one's a filbert, which has a little bit of a rounded corners to it. I'm going to use the filbert, but really it's kind of a matter of preference. If you're going to be painting something that needs more defined edges and lines, you might want to use the flat. If you're just kind of blending, it's probably better to go with the filbert. Okay, so I'm going to speed the video up here to 3 times the regular speed. So all of a sudden you're going to see me working really fast. Just like I did before, I'm going to start by laying out a base of white. Then I add tiny little bits of the darker color into the white, going back and forth, crisscross motion. That's probably a little bit dark, so I'm going to move that over to the next area and then go back and add some white and lighten up the first area. Paint will always dry a little darker than it is when you lay it out wet. Now the paint I used the first time, the blue is a little bit different than what I'm using now. So I'm going to go ahead and paint over this blue. I'll clean my brush so I don't have any white on it. It's similar. Okay, and since I'm adding black now, I want to start by laying out again the lighter color, so I'll start with a base of blue and gradually add small amounts of black to it. Now in the yellow area, that pure yellow is probably a little dark for where I positioned it, so I'm going to go over that and lighten it up a little bit. Since it's dry, I can't just blend into it. So I'm going to have to lay out some white and then add some yellow to it. If the paint dries, you kind of have to start over with it if you want to blend into it. Now with yellow, when you darken it, it's going to look a little bit green. but that's sort of what dark yellow looks like. Okay, here's your value scale with yellow, red, and blue. I am going to want you to do one with the primary green, or the lighter green, one with the orange, and one with the violet. This is what it should look like when it's finished. Now, if you want to check it, upload it to Pixlr and eliminate the color and see how close you got to matching all the values. Here I can see that I made my blues or my greens too dark, and I made my blues a little bit too light. You want the grays to look pretty even going up and down those columns.